Hello students, welcome to Unacademy platform. This platform provides you daily live classes, structured courses, live test quizzes, and unlimited access on subscription. You can also download this Unacademy learning app where you will be provided with daily live classes, structured courses, live test quizzes, and everything. This is about me, and this is my Unacademy profile link, and this is my Telegram link. Okay, so if you have any questions, any doubts regarding my classes, or any questions you have, any doubts, then you can just ping me here, and all those questions will be answered. Okay. Along with me, these are the top educators on Unacademy, so you can just go there and watch their courses. All that will be available in the platform, both website, YouTube, and as well as Unacademy learning app. These are different courses which are available at Unacademy platform. Okay, so for example, if you go with Plus, you have live classes, test series, unlimited practice, and structure schedule. If you go with Iconic, you have personal coach, daily mains question answer practice, study plan, and personalized feedback. These are the different plans of different durations. Okay, so you can choose according to your requirement, and all that is available at 10% discount if you apply this very code, that is Amit PS. Okay, again, these are different plans of different durations, and all these are available at 10% discount if you apply this very code, that is Amit PS. Now we come to the class, okay, our lecture part. And today I did not find any particular lead article, both in Hindu and Indian Express, which are of much importance to your UPSC exam. So the write-up that I have selected is this very editorial. Okay, so that appeared in the Indian Express, and this is what I'm going to discuss. Okay, so the lead article today is of not much importance for your UPSC. Now, this is going to be about center-state relations, and this is important for GS2 perspective. Okay, so please pay full attention here. This is editorial. I told you an editorial is the view of newspaper. Okay, whereas article is the view of the one who writes that particular article. So this is the first thing that you should know, because it is the editorial that I have selected today, so it is going to the view of newspaper. Okay, now in the midst of testing times of center-state relations, the 15th Finance Commission on Monday submitted its report to the President. So Finance Commission, you have special constitutional provision on Article 280. I'm sorry. And that was constituted, and it is constituted with terms of references. मतलब कि एक डेफिनेट टर्म्स ऑफ रेफरेंसेस दिए जाते हैं जिसके ऊपर फाइनेंस कमीशन को स्टडी करना होता है और उसके बाद वो रिपोर्ट सबमिट की जाती है. ओके, so that report is submitted to the president, and president actually lays down that very report to the parliament, which includes recommendation on sharing of tax revenue between center and state for the coming 5-year period. Okay. Now, with recent events signaling the center-state attempt to reassert its dominance over the country's fiscal architecture, how the Commission as a neutral arbiter seeks to balance the contesting claims will be critical. Okay. Now, this is the view of the newspaper that center is trying to dominate, is trying to assert its dominance over country's fiscal architecture. Now, you may not agree with this view because center has come out with institutions like Niti Aayog. Okay, and then it has done away with an institution like Planning Commission, which were actually asserting dominance of country's fiscal architecture by the center over the states. But according to my view, this reassertion or this assertion has gone with the scrapping of this very institution like planning commission. Okay, in the testing times of COVID-19, situation may emerge where center tries to control certain areas, certain provisions of fiscal architecture, but that should be seen with this very lens of emergency, which we are all facing, and which is being faced by the countries all around the globe. Okay, so I personally do not agree with this very view that center is dominating the states or dominating centers a country's fiscal architecture. Okay, so the Commission's recommendations will have a bearing on how center-state relations are reshaped as the country recovers from COVID shock. Okay, see again understand that when it comes to the fiscal part, okay, the fiscal being the very pocket of both central and state government, it becomes very important part of the governance. So every scheme, every particular welfare measure that both center and states are going to adopt, that is going to be determined by the amount of fund that center and states have. So states have a big resources in their favor, and that provides them a big amount of funding which can be utilized uh, for the implementation of welfare schemes. Same is not true with the states, and that has been the problem since the beginning in our constitutional scheme. So that has always been the bone of contention between center and states. Okay, and that is why we have institutions like finance commission, which could come out with a reasonable plan to distribute that very tax revenues between center and states. Ever since the framing of the terms of reference, as I told you, these terms of reference are given to the finance commission every 5 years, and on these terms of reference, finance commission actually comes out with its advices. Finance commission, there have been concerns about what is being seen by many as attempt by center to claw back the fiscal space ceded to states. Okay, now what are the fiscal space that has been ceded to states? Now, in the present state of GST, you already know that GST has created a system where center and states have both concurrent and simultaneous, understand this, simultaneous power to impose tax on every stage, I repeat, on every stage of production and distribution of goods and services. Okay, now this is important to realize because before the application of GST, we had this bifurcation in the original constitutional scheme where the production of the particular commodities was being taxed by union in form of excise duties, and the distribution of the commodities, that is product, in form of sales tax was actually imposed by states. And then in majority of the services, center used to actually impose tax, and in many of the services mentioned in article 29 clause a of article 366 of the constitution, states used to impose taxes. Okay, so this kind of bifurcation was not giving way to a system of one market, one nation, one tax, and that is why we came to adopt GST in the midnight of 1st July 2017 to create a system of one nation, one market, one tax. Okay, are you getting it? Now, after that, what has happened? Things which were actually being controlled by center is being controlled by both center and states simultaneously, and same is the condition with all those things which were controlled by states. So again, I do not agree with this view that what is being seen as an attempt by the center to claw back the fiscal space ceded to state. No fiscal space has ceded to state. Now, both the production and distribution, every stage related to the goods and services is being simultaneously managed, governed by parliament as well as the states. Okay, getting it? The 14th Finance Commission has pushed for greater fiscal autonomy for the states by increasing their share in the divisible tax pool from 32 to 42%. So this was something which was the recommendation of 14th Finance Commission. Okay, in reality, the states' share never touched 42% of the tax collection simply because center began to rely more on cesses and surcharges to raise resources, revenue from which is not shared with the states. But again, this is not actually a worry now because in GST that came with 101st Amendment Act in the year 2017, a provision has been made that the center can not impose any surcharge on GST. Okay, so that very contention of this very newspaper is again misplaced because no such issues actually exist after the implementation of GST. Reportedly, the commission has maintained the devolution at existing level. Okay, so this commission, 15th Finance Commission, is actually continuing what 14th Finance Commission has actually devised, that is, increase the divisible pool uh, portion for the state from 32% to 42%. Okay. On the other hand, any attempt to reduce the divisible pool tax pool that is shared with the states by, for example, acceding to center's demand for sequestering a part of tax revenue for defense and security spending would mean a fall in the state's share of taxes. This particular provision is correct. So, if center wants to um, do another kind of spending in defense and security spending, that center should actually ponder over other sources of revenue. It should not. My opinion is also in this very point concurs with the opinion of this very newspaper, which is that it should not come from the states division or the sources where the states actually have stakes in that very divisible pool where they are going to have 42% share. Okay, this would be unfortunately, especially in the current circumstances. And yes, that is something which is going to be true because this would be unfortunate because state's part of 42% in the divisible tax pool is still not being utilized. Okay, and if center starts appropriating from that very divisible pool in favor of defense and security spending, that is again going to decrease the divisible pool which is assigned in favor of states. So that what particular view is correct. Okay, states are at the forefront of fighting pandemic, yes, and need to be assured of more resources. That is also correct. So, in light of the breakdown, the consensus over the issue of compensating them for the loss of their GST revenues. Yeah, this is the recent controversy that you have seen. That is emerging only because when it comes to the compensation through GST revenues, there have been various provisions which have been made by the Constitution Amendment number 101st itself, but that has not been practiced, okay, by the center in many of the instances, and the details are actually out of the scope of this very discussion. This is not to suggest, of course, that spending on defense does not need to be ramped up. Yes, actually, we cannot sideline the defense spending because we are actually sitting on the verge or on the very nearby uh, area which has this very unique cartographic importance where major fault lines of the world exist. For example, in our neighborhood, it is Pakistan, and then there is Afghanistan. Then you also have been seeing that we have developing skirmishes with Chinese side also. So in this case, in this scenario, spending on defense cannot be compromised. Okay, but the point is that this should not be coming from the divisible pool that has been kept in favor of the states. Okay, but more resources could be found by reorienting the center's expenditure priorities. Over the past few decades, central government spending has risen on items that fall in the state and concurrent list while falling on items in the union list. So this has been the observation again of this very newspaper, but this can be countered also because center has actually played very important role in case of COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, mainly because center has first more efficiency. Okay, then secondly because it has more fund, and if you go by the global examples of the countries, examples of various countries at global level, it is a center which has played major role. So that is not something which is different or very much contrasting in our case. Okay, equally important will be the Commission's views on other issues that form part of the terms of references and that are roadmap for fiscal consolidation. This is important. Right from the year 2013, we are trying to have fiscal discipline and fiscal consolidation that has been achieved to good extent by FRBM Act. Okay, but again, that is not enough. That is why we need terms of references, specific terms of references for Finance Commission also. Okay, for more performance-based incentives for states in line with the center's priorities, among others. Yes, that should actually be included in terms of references, and that has been actually included in one way or the other, where it has been made sure that the performance-based incentives are given to the states so that we could have something called competitive federalism. Okay, so this is important to, from this point of view. How it reconciles the centralizing tendencies of the government with its role as a neutral arbiter, which must maintain a delicate balance, will have a bearing on the future of the federal framework. Again, this is actually a view particularly held by the Hindu here. I personally do not agree with this very view that the centralizing tendencies are there in this very government. When you have the formation of institutions like Niti Aayog, okay, when you have for the very formulation of the planning and its implementation at the subnational level, that is by state and sub-state bodies, for example urban local bodies, and then even gram sabhas are also being employed, then you cannot see that this government has a centralizing tendency. Centralizing tendency was very much visible in institutions like planning commission. Okay, when plans were formulated by a body and which were actually passed by NDCs, and there you had states, okay, taking part in the passing of those very plans, but in the very formulation state, states were absent, let alone ULBs and Gram Sabhas. But in this very scheme, where Niti Aayog is at the forefront in the formulation of the plans, it has been made sure that the subnational bodies are also included. Okay, so in that case, it has been made sure that the urban local bodies and even Panchayati Raj institutions, including bodies like Gram Sabha, okay, it provides certain inputs which become part of the plan formulation, the vision document. All that is prepared by Niti Aayog. All that shows that this government does not have centralizing tendency. Okay, so this is actually goes against the very facts of the matter that we have in hand. Okay, which are at the forefront in the governance under this NDA2 headed by Prime Minister Modi, and we do not see that kind of centralizing tendencies which were present in the era planning commission. Considering its far-reaching ramifications, especially in light of the growing strains on the relationship between center and states, it would be prudent for the government to table a report without delay and address any apprehensions. Okay, yeah, this is something which should happen because our finance commission submits reports, as I told you, to the president, and then president makes it or submits it or makes it available for the parliament to have a proper discussion over it. Okay, so this should actually happen as soon as possible. This has been the view of this very particular editorial. Okay, and this was all because lead article was not actually relevant for your examinations point of view. That is why I thought to cover this editorial that appeared in the Hindu today, in the Indian Express today. Thank you. If you plan to subscribe any particular course in Unacademy, make sure that you apply this very code because then you will be able to avail 10% discount. Thank you very much.